1, 2, 3, go!
My favorite thing to do with my dad is cuddling.
Husband of Microsoft Executive's ex-wife charged with his murder. Microsoft executive and father of 4, Jared Bridgeman, was killed on 16 February 2022 after he dropped his twins off at their mother and his ex-wife's home. Bridgeman's baby daughter was in the car at the time of his death and reportedly spent a few minutes alone with her father's body before someone called for help. Since the shooting of Bridgeman, authorities have compiled the details of the murder, and police have now made 2 arrests. One of the suspects is 34-year-old Mario Fernandez Saldana, the estranged husband of Bridgeman's ex-wife Shanna Gardner Fernandez, in connection with Bridgeman's murder. He was recently arrested with multiple charges, including the charge of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. So, what's the story of this case? Is Mario Fernandez Saldana alone involved in the murder of Bridgeman, or his wife Shanna Gardner has also plotted for her ex-husband's murder? Or are both of them innocent? In today's video, I will unwind the twists and turns of Jared Bridgeman's murder case. Are you ready? Let's begin. How did the murder happen? Police say Jared Bridgeman took 3 of his children to a routine weekly dinner on February 16, 2022, and returned to his home in Street Augustine after dropping off his twins at his ex-wife's home when he bumped into a tire in the middle of the street in a dark area of Sanctuary Boulevard. After leaving his 2-year-old daughter in the backseat of his Volkswagen Atlas, Bridgeman was shot in cold blood several times as he tried to move the obstacle. Investigators believe that someone intentionally placed this tire there to make it stop. Toddler Bexley, one of 2 daughters he shares with his now widow, Kirsten Bridgeman, was unharmed in the attack and was still sitting in her car seat when, minutes later, a person drove by and called authorities about the incident. Police say when they arrived at the scene, the hazard lights of Bridgeman's car flashed and the tire was still on the road. The first arrest. Before arresting Mario Fernandez Saldana, police had previously arrested Henry Tenen in January in relation to Jared Bridgeman's death. Henry Tenen pleaded guilty to second-degree murder with a murder weapon. Tenen was also charged with child abuse in addition to conspiracy to commit murder and second-degree murder, as Jared Bridgeman's 2-year-old daughter was in the vehicle when he was killed. At the time of Tenen's arrest, authorities did not disclose his connection to Bridgeman, but claimed in a complaint against him that he had conspired with at least one accomplice 6 weeks before the murder. Investigators later discovered that the only link between Bridgeman and Kiernan Fernandez was Saldana. Tenen admitted to being the actual shooter who killed Jared Bridgeman. The 62-year-old had lived on the property of Fernandez Saldana. Tenen also reportedly worked as a handyman for several Fernandez rental properties in Jacksonville. Tenen agreed to testify against those with whom he had collaborated to assassinate Bridgeman. Tenen's collaboration has confirmed the evidence gathered during the investigation and provided additional evidence against Mario Fernandez Saldana for his role in the planning and execution of Jared's murder. Mario Fernandez Saldana's arrest. On 16 March 2023, Florida authorities announced they had arrested Mario Fernandez Saldana, Jared Bridgeman's ex-wife Shanna's husband. Fernandez's arrest warrant originally included a charge of second-degree murder with a weapon. Florida law requires a grand jury indictment to increase the charge of first-degree murder. Deputy Prosecutor Christina Stifler presented the case simultaneously with the Tenen plea and the arrest of Mario Fernandez Saldana to increase the charges to the first degree. He is charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, which is punishable by up to 30 years in prison, a solicitation to commit a capital felony, which is also punishable by up to 30 years in prison, and child abuse, as Bridgeman's 2-year-old daughter Bexley was directly in harm's way during the shooting. Details from Fernandez Saldana's arrest warrant. A heavily redacted affidavit of the arrest warrant states that Henry Tenen received 3 handwritten checks from Mario Fernandez Saldana. It also mentioned a financial connection between Kiernan and Fernandez Saldana. Affiant received Kiernan's financial records from his bank on 14 October 2022. Phone records also show that Kiernan and Mario Fernandez Saldana spoke 35 times in February, 30 times in March, and between 5 and 9 times in May and June. The affidavit states that the totality of the evidence proves that Mario Fernandez Saldana was primarily responsible for the murder of Jared Bridgeman, and that Mario Fernandez Saldana solicited, conspired with, and aided others involved in Bridgeman's murder. The affidavit also noted that Mario Fernandez Saldana and Shanna Gardner Fernandez met at their CrossFit gym in 2018. Mario Fernandez Saldana worked as a maintenance guy there. They got married later. Bridgeman and ex-wife Shanna Gardner Fernandez. Shanna Gardner Fernandez met her future ex-husband, Jared Bridgeman, in 2009 during her visit to Florida. She is the daughter of the co-founders of an artisan business. She was from Utah and was far from home when she met Bridgeman because she was visiting a friend in the city of Jacksonville, Florida. They soon became friends and began to date. In April 2010, Shanna and Jared Bridgeman tied the knot in April 2010 in a wedding ceremony held in Salt Lake City, Utah. They soon became parents of twins. Sometime after the birth of their twins, the couple decided to move to Connecticut. Sources say when the couple moved to Connecticut, the cracks really began to show up. It is alleged that Bridgeman found provocative emails between Shanna and her personal trainer that led to her revelation that she had quit her marriage. Jared Bridgeman was so upset about it, and he was like he didn't recognize this person. He married a completely different person. On 23 February 2015, Shanna filed for divorce from Bridgeman and applied for joint custody of her 2 children. During their courtroom showdown, the former couple disagreed on each other's claims regarding property, alimony, custody, and child support. Jared accused Shanna of spying on him and invading his privacy in May 2015. A few months later, the two were finally able to reach a divorce settlement in July 2015. Kristen Bridgeman shared details. Prosecutors in the case noted that Jared Bridgeman, Shanna Gardner Fernandez, and Mario Fernandez Saldana had a contentious relationship. After Gardner and Bridgeman married in 2010 and divorced in 2015, they shared equal custody of a twin son and daughter. Kirsten Bridgeman, Jared's widow, had expressed distrust of his former wife after her bitter divorce and ongoing legal battles. Since their divorce, Bridgeman and Shanna Gardner Fernandez have remained embroiled in a contentious court battle in St. Johns County that included disputes over child custody and allegations of mental manipulation. Kirsten Bridgeman said that despite the ongoing struggle with his ex-wife, she and Bridgeman worked out a timeline to make sure he could see his children. As part of the custody agreement, Jared Bridgeman would see the twins for a date on Wednesdays when they weren't with them. It usually consisted of dinner and a quick activity like dinner or dessert, and then he took the kids back to the other parent's house. Kristen's husband was returning home from one of those date nights with his children when he was fatally shot. Kirsten also said her daughter Bexley continues to struggle with the trauma of witnessing her father's murder. She heard the sounds of the shots killing her father, and she was alone, wondering what had happened to him. And he didn't answer her for minutes, which is a lot for a child. Kirsten Bridgeman, who married Jared 4 years before the murder, said of the connection that she is not surprised about Jared's ex-wife's link to the murder. To be honest, she said that it was definitely planned and there are more people involved. She's been through a lot at such a young age. All eyes on Shanna Gardner Fernandez. Now that Mario Fernandez Saldana is being charged with Jared Bridgeman's murder, attention is increasingly focused on Shanna Gardner Fernandez and what she might know about the allegations her husband faces. Or is she too involved in the conspiracy to murder her ex-husband? Shanna has not been accused of anything and has publicly condemned all insinuations as harassment and sensationalism. Some revelations have also been made about Shanna's relationship with Mario Fernandez Saldana. In recent months, Mario Fernandez Saldana lived in Orlando, while Shanna Gardner Fernandez lived in Washington State. They have separate lawyers in Jacksonville. It is not clear what the state of the relationship is, but the spouse's privilege remains intact until the marriage is legally terminated. Despite everything, the communications shared by them in the context of their marriage remain confidential. Regardless of what the spouse's privilege provides, the circumstances point to a limited number of possibilities for murder. Unless Mario Fernandez Saldana was very upset about the existing custody issues with his wife Shanna Gardner's ex-husband and wanted to do her a favor without her knowing about it, then that's obviously a first scenario. The other scenario is that they've conspired to hire this guy Henry Tinnan to kill Jared Bridgeman for them. And obviously, the third scenario is that they had nothing to do with the murder, and Tinnan, who is in prison and was the first to be arrested to commit the murder, is just trying to get out of his own mess by claiming they have something to do with it. And that's where things like cell phone records and communications and GPS and all of these things and all the evidence that kind of supports what someone says comes in. Shanna Gardner's reaction to Bridgeman's death. It was revealed in June 2022 that Shanna Gardner Fernandez had hired a defense lawyer. Shanna's lawyer issued a statement announcing that he had been hired by the first and her second husband, Mario Fernandez Saldana, to consider whether steps could be taken to protect their young twins from any publicity related to this tragic event and the murder of Jared Bridgeman. After Jared Bridgeman was murdered by gunfire on his way home from Shanna's house, the family has been through a lot. Mario's arrest and the media constantly trying to interfere are quite disturbing for the children. Months after the murder of her late ex-husband, Shanna Gardner finally spoke out about the tragic incident. On June 30, 2022, she told a local news channel reported that she did want people to understand where she was coming from. She was initially asked to not talk to the media or give a public statement. She said she had tried really hard to do that, but with a level of speculation, she felt now it was necessary to speak out about it. Shanna recalled Jared Bridgeman's deadly tragedy, saying that she was sure that day they had happy moments. She said they shared the two most beautiful children in the world, and she remembers Jared telling her son that it was a good date night. She found out about Jared's murder in the middle of the night and was left in shock. She said that she fell to the floor because she was devastated. She was thinking about what she's gonna have to tell the kids. It was a complete shock for her. The kids were also shocked when they came to know about Jared's death. They were very emotional, and that was kind of the beginning of their journey. She said while reflecting on their history that anytime divorce comes into any situation, it's messy. She really wants to respect Jared and his family. Both of them love their kids. Shanna concluded that even though they didn't always get along, he was still the father of her kids. She insisted that she did not have anything to do with his murder, and she consulted with a criminal defense attorney for her kids. Her kids' images and videos were being used in the media without consent, so several friends referred him to her. She declined to talk about her divorce from Jared, in which she accused him of disruptive and abusive behavior. Jared claimed that she locked him out of the master bedroom and installed surveillance equipment in both his car and the kids' nursery. She said that she doesn't see any good in airing our dirty laundry. In January this year, it was reported that Shanna Gardner Fernandez quietly uprooted her 10-year-old twins and relocated to West Richland, Washington. Let the case investigations unwind whether Shanna has a link with Bridgeman's murder or not. So, these were all the twists and turns of Microsoft executive Jared Bridgeman's murder case. I'll keep you updated about further progression in the case. If you found this case story compelling, don't forget to like the video and comment below with your take on it. Subscribe to the channel for more similar videos and hit the bell icon to stay up to date each time we reveal a new shocking case. Until next time, stay safe. You never know what's lurking in the shadows.